Sunday, good Sunday, good Sunday. It's I, your Reverend Rackers, with the DP Ministries, here to wish all y'all out there a good Sunday. It's good to be back. Reverend's had a week off or so. He was sick last week. It wasn't good, folks. It wasn't good at all. I don't like being sick. There's lots of that out there, though. Lots of people sick right now, and that's no good. No good at all. So if you're sick, watch the Reverend, have a laugh, take a nap. So first of all, this would have been better if I did last week, but I'd like to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs for just a second. They lost the first playoff game they've been in a long time to the Colts. But that does not make this season a wash, folks. No, it does not. We did great this year, folks. They went, 11-5? They were 2-14 last year. And you go 11-5 in the next year? That's fantastic, folks. It's just fantastic. I'm looking forward to next year. We've already got Alex Smith re-signed. We got some other players re-signed and ready to go. It's going to be good stuff, folks. It's going to be damn good stuff. So look for big things in the Chiefs for 2014. So, we got to give them the chop for doing great this year. Thank you for kicking ass this year, Kansas City. Now, the Reverend went to Hastings the other day, and I was looking for a comic book and a copy of The Shining because I haven't read that and I know they had a cheap copy there. Well, actually, I went there for a comic book, and I ended up getting The Shining, but we'll talk about why. So, I get my book, my comic book, and walk up to the register, and their system just automatically shuts down. Like it just stops right when the Reverend's getting ready to check out. So, standing around, like, wondering what these people are going to do. Like, I mean, I know it's all computerized, but can't you get some fucking, like a calculator and some cash out and an old school credit card machine? All businesses have this stuff. So in case the power goes out or their systems go down, they can still run manually and take payments and whatnot. So they're just running around standing there like fucking all hell is broken loose. And I'm like, hey, y'all got like policies in place for this? And they're like, we're not sure what to do. We don't know how to add tax into this. And I'm like, really? Because all you got to do is add up everybody's products and times that by point, I think Jeff City is 0.7257 or something. I don't remember. But they've got a chart there. And they did have a chart there. They knew what it was. So, they're trying to freak out because they can't find a calculator with a percentage button. And I'm like, just put in 0.0727. And they're like, oh, well, that would make sense. So they're still standing there, and they've got, they're getting all their tools together and whatnot, but they're still not doing anything. They're just like, I guess they're still waiting for the system to come on. There's like 15 people in line, and they're all still standing there going, I don't know what to do. What are we going to do about this? And like, I just told them what to do about it. I realize I'm not a Hastings employee, but fuck, folks. That's how you deal with that situation. You get some cash out of the drawer, you fucking take cash payments on one side, you take credit card payments on the other side, and I try to explain this to them. So I said, fuck it, I'll go look for books. I walk off, because I'm like, God forbid, somebody knows what the fuck they're doing. And I was going to leave, but I really wanted this comic book. So, I go and find The Shining for like $6. I mean, you can't go wrong. I walk back to the register. And this is after I've like looked at all the toys and collectibles and all of that shit. Like I scour the store to kill some time. I get back and they are just now starting to ring people out. And apparently Hastings only has one fucking calculator. Are you kidding me? So they're passing this calculator back and forth. This one can take cash payments, and this one can take credit card payments, but they're not telling anybody in line which is which until people get, until the first person with cash is in the credit card line. They're like, oh, I can't do cash, and this dude is pissed, and I can't blame him. But so, like, they got one person, they'll do the calculator and get their shit together, and then they gotta hand it to the other person. You got one calculator in a whole fucking store? I bet if you went to the back, you would find fucking like a Star Wars calculator or a Sons of Anarchy calculator that you could just fucking open up and use. What the fuck? Oh my god, I fucking nearly snapped on him. I was trying to explain. How bad is it when you're trying to explain another manager's job to someone when you don't even work for that company, but you know what needs to be done in that situation, and they eventually listen to you and do what you suggested in the first place? It just takes 30 minutes for it to get done. It's fucking ridiculous. Hastings, you're a bunch of retards. Now, Jamie Bearass, the Bearass herself, asked me, why hasn't Justin Bieber been killed yet? And Jamie, I'm at a loss for words. That's fucking mean coming from you. But for real, why did like John Lennon get shot and killed? Or Dimebag get shot and killed? Great musicians of their time. And we can't fucking get somebody to put a slug in Bieber? Come on, man. Somebody take one for the team and put a slug in Bieber. Everybody hates him unless they're like a 5-year-old girl, and even the 5-year-old girls don't like Bieber so much anymore. So why don't somebody rise up and take a shot at Bieber with a 45 in the face? Yeah, shoot him. Fuck. Anyway, that's all I got about that. Yeah. Liam, old brother Liam, he was telling me this story the other day, and it was too good not to tell. He was hanging out with his girlfriend, and they were grocery shopping, and Liam likes to buy the cheap orange juice, and she has to buy like Simply Orange, which I think sucks anyway. I think the Simply orange juice is terrible. I'd rather have Florida Natural, but that's just me. But Liam buys the cheap shit, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think the cheap shit's better than the Simply Orange anyway. But Liam's girlfriend did not concur. So Liam decided to do a little taste test, like a Pepsi versus Coke taste test. He wrote a number on each bottle, and he wrote a number on each cup, and he poured the orange juice in the corresponding cup, and had his girlfriend taste the orange juice. Now you can see where this is going, can't you, folks? That's right. She liked the cheap orange juice more than she liked the Simply Orange. Sorry about that, folks. And she was fucking livid. Oh my God, she wouldn't talk to him for like a day and a half. I mean, he probably gave her a lot of shit about it, and I would have too. My God, if I would have done that, and my girl would have picked the cheap orange juice, and then would have been like, oh, I was just playing, I really like number 2 better. Bullshit, you like number 1 better. Ha-ha. Oh, that's a good story. We ought to do that more to people when they say, well, I don't like generic ketchup. Give them some fries, some fucking Hunts, some fucking Heinz, and some fucking Walmart. And I bet you can't tell the difference between Walmart and Heinz. Hunts I've never liked. But, anyway, back on orange juice. That shit is funny, folks. I figured you all might like it, so I figured I'd just shout it out there. He gave her the old taste test, and she liked the cheap shit better, but she always said that the cheap shit was gross. Apparently it's not. I also got asked, why do we always seem to date the same people for like in life you always go back to a certain person after you've dated a couple people? Well, honestly, there could be a couple reasons for that. One, you're just really familiar with that person and you need somebody that you know will be for you and with you for a little bit of time, and that makes you feel good. Or honestly, number two, which is probably the real reason, is you actually love that person, and you keep coming back to them because you know they're the one for you. And whether you all have minor differences about something, one day you're going to have to work it out and really try so you know. Because otherwise you're just going to keep that process. You're going to date somebody, you're going to date somebody, you're going to go back to that old flame. You're going to date somebody, you're going to date somebody, you're going to go back to that old flame. Really give it a go with that old flame. I mean, 100%. Don't just break up because somebody didn't do the dishes, or don't just break up because somebody was a bitch and was just being a bitch, or a cunt. Yeah, that C word was brought to you by Heather Deer, who would like to see the word cunt become more mainstream. That was just a little shout out to Heather. She loves that word. But anyway, I mean, really, give it 100% go, and then you'll know whether it was meant to be or not. Now, something that pisses the Reverend off. Not really pisses the Reverend off. I love it. I love the fact that it's happened. But it pissed me off that it happened once the Reverend trimmed his beard up. I used to have a badass beard, folks. I mean, a beard. Fucking manly. Grizzly-looking motherfucker. It was awesome. And then I cut it for work a couple years ago. And it seems like right after the Reverend trimmed his beard up, all these other motherfuckers started growing big-ass beards and big bushy beards, and looking all bearded and shit. And my beard kicked all these motherfucker beards' asses. And they're just all, look at me and my beard. Oh, look at you with your short beard. Fuck you, I had a long beard before long beards were cool, motherfucker. I had to shave mine to get a good job. Man, it was like, for years, it was like me and the guys from ZZ Top were the only ones that had cool beards. And then these Duck Dynasty assholes come along, and everybody wants to grow a beard now. And fuck you people. You poser ass, fucking go with the crowd motherfuckers. Shave your beard and be a girl like you were before. So the Reverend can still have his beard and the remembrances of his big-ass, badass beard, and not have to look at you, who thought my beard was ridiculous 5 years ago, and now you have my beard. Man, fuck off. Shave your face and be a pussy like you are. Now, Uncle Whistleblower, he brought Reverend to an attention to something called Site 6, or C6. It's down in Florida. It's an Air Force base down in Florida that supposedly uses radar to track objects the size of no smaller, like a softball-sized object it can track in space. So, that is pretty badass. Supposedly the radar is so bad, if a bird flies into where the radar stream goes, it actually explodes from the radio waves emitted out into the atmosphere. So that can't be good for our atmosphere. If you can blow up a bird with radio waves from radar, that's some fucked up shit, folks. But then I dig into it a little more. And you know what Site 6C also has? Herbicides buried in barrels throughout the property. Depleted uranium containers buried throughout the property. They tested nuclear things out on that property. They did all kinds of military testing. They've got, partial empty napalm bombs buried in the ground out there. They have some nasty shit buried in the ground down in Florida. And Florida is like a sea level area. If it was to rise up the ocean, it would sweep all that shit from Florida into the ocean. What the fuck, folks? They're polluting everything. Site C6 needs to be shut down. even if it's just to save some birds' lives and to save whatever they're pumping into the atmosphere out there. That's some more DARPA bullshit and HARP bullshit. I'm sure they're sending radio waves to change the weather, as well as they're probably tracking, it says they can track every satellite that's out there too, which means if they can track every satellite, they can see every satellite. So that means at that base, they can use every satellite against us if they want to. Rise up, folks, and don't let this government shit go. You can't let it go. We need to rise up and take our country back, folks. Rise up. Well, that's all I have for today. Just remember, DTA, don't trust anyone, especially the government. Good Sunday, good talk.